You know, every once in a while I say this, but one man really shouldn't have this much power. I'm never going to get those darts back, am I? Well, this was voted on by the folks over at Patreon, so if you want to have some influence on future videos, well, that's the place to go, because this is Tag Back, the show where every week we take a look at a blaster from the past to see what it can offer us today in the present, and this time, it's the reason why I love BOOMco so freaking much. These are the BOOMco Colossal Blitz, also known as, I believe, the Dartsplosion. At least that was the original name, which was the coolest thing ever. Colossal Blitz is only, you know, it's like a 3 out of 10 on the coolness factor. And these are, well, semi-auto slash full auto blasters, flywheel, like way before the Regulator was a thing. They don't have 3-shot burst or anything like that, but still, semi-auto, full auto. And the coolest thing about that is it has an indicator, a selector switch on the side. Right there, it's that green thing that I can't really reach, I don't have long enough fingers. That the single fire, the semi-auto, is a mechanical pull, while the full auto is motorized. Which is really weird, which means unlike things like the Regulator, there's no delay when you pull the trigger and the thing actually fires. It just works perfectly, and this is, again, these blasters came out in like 2015 or so. Nothing else even competes in my mind. These things are just incredible and incredibly phallic, and they are very freaking heavy because they are driven by 6 C-cell batteries each. Now, if you're really new, you might not know what a BOOMco is, and well, this is a BOOMco. This is a BOOMco dart, and it's a plastic rubber kind of waxy straw material with a rubber head on the end of it that's meant to stick to the smart stick targets that these darts come with. And, well, most of them don't even come with those targets anymore, but the point is, these darts are not only very durable, as long as you can get them back, you can fire them again, they're also very aerodynamic and very velocity efficient, if that's even a term. They use their power extremely well, and honestly, except for very, very extremely high velocities, these are probably the best stock dart you can, and they're massive. They have a total of 72 darts with 31 in each one of these drums, and the drums can be removed. It's not exactly a super easy thing to do without some heavy modification, but you just kind of push in the tabs, and they will pop out, and they also will feed in. It's been forever since I've done this. There we go. It'd help if I had it in the right orientation. Come on. There we go. And that's a lot for a blaster like this. And of course, an angled foregrip that doesn't have any function, but it's very comfortable. And it looks very intimidating. With a pretty decent rate of fire to boot, this, at the time, was really good. It was also very expensive. It was like $100. I believe when I went out and bought one of these with the batteries and everything, it cost me about $120, which is a lot for a blaster. And then when I first moved here, I saw that they were on clearance at Target for 26 bucks each, but I didn't have a vehicle that could take the trip at the time, like down to Portland and stuff like that. And I didn't know Brett at the time, so I didn't get one, which was a shame, because I would have bought so many of them. I still want to figure out exactly how I want to mod these things, but the problem with that is that they're not very common. In fact, I would say they're pretty darn rare. They command a very steep price if you're trying to buy one secondhand. But they're freaking cool. I know a lot of people tell me, oh, BOOMco never made any flywheel blasters. That's not true. They made 2. They made the Spinsanity 3X, which I have modded one, and we'll talk about that. Unfortunately, it's not complete, so I haven't put a video out on it. And then this thing, the Colossal Blitz, or the Dartsplosion. I think Dartsplosion is the better word here. And this is still one of my favorite blasters ever made. It's very, very comfortable. It doesn't have a stock, unfortunately, which, you know, would be really easy to add. You could literally hot glue something there, but it's still very, very comfortable. It's got a very good sight picture, all things considered, because you just aim between the drums and hose everything down. And it's got 2 sets of flywheels, so 4 flywheels, even though I believe those are only driven by 2 motors. I've never taken one of these things apart before. Other people have modded them, and I'm just kind of scared to do it because I really don't want mine to break, and I think that flywheel system might lead itself to eventually breaking. There's still not a whole lot like these blasters out there, and it is possible to top these things up on the fly, even though they don't use clips or magazines or anything like that. You could just shove darts into the top right here, and, well, that's the next part it's going to feed in. So you can keep this thing topped up on the field, and thankfully it gives you the option to have that mechanical semi-auto fire, which makes it a completely serviceable blaster on the field. If you want to fully reload these things, it will take a very long time, and of course they never made extras, and it was never really advertised to be a quick reload blaster to let you, remove these things, but if you have extras, you could totally use them, and it's so cool. This is one of those blasters that's just really, really cool. The velocity is on par with standard BOOMco, which isn't that great. It's certainly comparable to Nerf stock, but when you get up into the modification stuff, that's where things go a little bit wrong. And of course, people love to modify their blasters, so they've been less useful. And these can be modified, they can be overvolted. The BOOMco motors I have tested in the Spinsanity 3X accept an overvoltage perfectly fine. The major driving factor with modifying these is that the flywheels are actually rubber. However, the flywheels, because they're rubber, have 2 little side plates that hold the rubber together, and if you super glue those side plates to the actual flywheel itself, well, then the flywheel doesn't actually kind of, expand out when it revs up at high speed, and then it works perfectly fine. But with it having the double flywheel system, I'm a little cautious. I'm actually very, very cautious to modify one of these. And unfortunately, one of the ones I have, which is thanks to Brett, it doesn't feed all that reliably. In fact, we can check it here. Actually, it looks like it fed pretty darn well, but it does have some minor skippage when it's feeding through on the right-hand drum here. So if I'm going to modify either of them, it's going to be one of these. And my God, does this look like some kind of Gundam weapon. It is massive, it is phallic, it shoots really fast, it hits reasonably hard, and it has, again, you can imagine having, not that I think you'd want to run around with these for very long because they are exceptionally heavy, but if you wanted to just completely go all out on having a blaster that's just built from the ground up to be something competitive, 144 shots semi-auto, cut the barrels off these things and rewire them to a LiPo, you could go an entire war without ever having to reload, and you can get a lot of people tagged out with that. That is nothing that you can really get anymore in Nerf. No reloading, 72 shots, semi-auto is just a glorious, glorious thing. This is the reason why I loved BOOMco. They did just insane things like this, and when you had things like the Centurion, the Cam ECS, the Rhino Fire, all of which were pretty big letdowns when it comes to blasting, and then another very expensive blaster comes out and it happens to be really good and do everything and more. Oh man, if you find one of these things, pick it up. If you can find one for under 60 bucks used and it works, I would buy it. They are very, very good, and there's really not a whole lot that can compete with this thing in terms of sheer longevity on the field. They're amazing blasters, and it's just another reminder that it's sad what BOOMco has turned into, basically for the last year and a half, 2 years, and even into the future, only putting out their licensed stuff, which, we do have the Blaze of Glory coming out, which is, of course, a shotgun from Halo 5. I want to get excited about it, I really do, but I'm going to wait to see what it actually does before I get super excited about it, because it's not going to be anything quite like this. A just massive beast of sheer power, and one of the scariest dart blasters to be on the receiving end of. in probably Nerf history. And I know I say Nerf, and this is BOOMco, but you don't go to a BOOMco war. You go to a Nerf war. Deal with it. Let me know what you think about the Colossal Blitzes down in the comment section below. Do you own one? Have you modded one? I would be very interested to hear your stories. Have you ever faced one on the foam fields of battle? Oh, I really, really want to know because they're so much fun. I'm Walcom S7. Thank you very much for watching this video, and of course, I hope to see you in an entirely different one.